Hello, and welcome back to Ben and Mike's Film Room, where this is our second attempt at this.
Just like it's Marvel's second phase?
Yeah. Because before, there was this thing that we noticed where you said, we just did that thing, and also when I first noticed you saying that after every podcast.
I just wanted to...
Have your thing.
I just want to have a thing. Every time I listen to Dear Hank and John, I always want to say, or as I prefer to think of it,
Dear Ben and Michaels.
Ben and Mike.
Michael,
but it's already called Ben and Mike, so I don't have to do the
can't
thing.
Say it.
And so that's why I don't have a thing. So I was trying to make a thing.
Well, your thing was one of the most basic things.
It was, like just talking about anything
phase
that
2!
You agree about. Yes, phase 2 is... So what is the deal?
What is the deal with phases?
Oh, phases, airplane food.
You like jazz?
Wow, that is a really bad Jerry Seinfeld.
You like jazz?
He's like a weird Jerry Seinfeld / Goofy mix. It's pretty great.
Make him a French pirate.
There it is. French radio pirate.
So yes, to answer the question, I don't know.
Well, yeah, the first one, phase makes sense.
It ended with Avengers.
Yes, and so you see phase 2, and you're like, oh, it ends with Avengers up, Ant-Man.
No, Ant-Man is the intermission.
I guess. What's the point of the story arc? Ant-Man isn't critical to the storyline right now that I can tell.
Yeah, because,
and maybe Endgame cleans that up. Probably does.
Well, yeah, he's in the movie for, of all the people to keep unsnapped, Ant-Man, there must be a reason. Probably the quantum realm.
Clearly is going to go up the nose.
The butt.
Thanos. Not the butt. And then he just gets big.
That is the current meme.
Oh, man.
Before it was like up the nose, now it's up the butt.
Not the butt.
Yes. What?
Well, yeah. So, I don't know what his deal is. I don't know why they said this is a phase. I don't know what makes the difference between a phase and just a collection of movies anyway.
I don't either. All I know is that the next phase is 10 movies.
Oh man, what?
Yeah, so the phase 3 years
doesn't really, the number of movies doesn't make sense, right? So between phase 1 and 2, those movies are the same length, right?
4 years, yes.
We have the same number of movies.
Correct.
So under that argument, we should be in the 4th phase already.
Well, who knows?
Just
our Lord Kevin Feige does.
It's true.
Sorry for the blasphemy.
Just a little.
So
let's talk about the overall impact of the phase. Well, first of all, did you like the movies?
Overall, yes. I'd say a decent, I would say 4 out of 6 I enjoyed the most. Consistently through.
And it has my absolute favorite Marvel movie, which is Guardians, of course.
What about Guardians 2?
Guardians 2 is fine, except for the Pac-Man thing.
Oh, you turd. You have no heart. We'll get to that.
He just wants to play catch with his dad. We'll get to that later. I'm just saying.
That movie is fantastic.
It is good, but
it's better than the first.
No way.
Well,
no way.
I firmly disagree.
Okay.
But that's for the future.
But I personally enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy more than any other Marvel movie because it does every single thing it attempts so well. And so for me, I feel like it matches the first phase in a lot of ways. There's a couple of forgettables.
Well,
there's a single forgettable really in the first phase, right? We only had
Hulk.
Yeah, the Hulk, and it was a mess. And this one we had
Thor 2.
What
even happened in that movie? Can you even remember the name of the bad guy?
Of course I do. It's Malekith.
Oh, good. I feared that I was the only one who could remember his name.
But that movie was not any good. A lot of good stuff happened in it, making you think it might have been good, but it wasn't. And then Iron Man 3 was weird, and you're like, how important is this to the plot of the universe?
Well, the thing
is... And none of it is.
well, maybe the event in the film, but I definitely think that the character himself, like, grew a little in that movie.
Oh, Thor? You're saying?
Iron Man.
Oh, Iron Man did grow as a character, but like I didn't feel like the Iron Man 3 Iron Man is the same guy as the Avengers 2 Iron Man.
What?
You know?
Well,
I don't know.
He didn't. Well,
like, why is he trying to build this shield, this Ultron shield, out of nowhere? I mean, I know he wants to be done with the hero business.
I can assume that it's because he has PTSD about going to space, and he knows the space thing is coming, so he thinks he'll have an army of Ultron robots to defend the Earth or something. If that happens, granted that didn't happen.
Well, I mean, on the other hand,
sorry if we're
Captain America also has a lot of war experience, and so he could also have PTSD, but he is on the other side of it.
He dealt with that in the ice.
He understands that in order to prevent war, you can't go and...
You can't prevent a war if it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, exactly. You can't prevent a non-existent war.
Like,
I don't that's know, what happened in all the things so far, and he
well, I don't know how true, I'm not so educated in actual wars.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how true that is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but, the way they're going about it,
the way they present it, it's like, oh, yeah, that definitely sounds like something. Like
a truism.
Yes. No, what I was trying to say also earlier, that please forgive us if we're not that energetic, because we are both very sleepy.
It's true. See? Evidence of sleepiness. So, I think, overall, this phase was a confusing one. Because...
Well, the thing is...
Mostly, the pieces don't connect, but on the other hand, I didn't care because all of the movies got better overall.
Yeah, because, after Dark World, that was the low point. Everything is up from here.
It's true. And it's not as low as the Hulk. Right? We said no matter what it is, Hulk gets -1 of Thor.
Yeah,
it doesn't even matter what we rated it.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's that was the worst movie.
So, I will say, though, Marvel gets kind of a feeling now where we have no good villains, and the format starts to come up. It's kind of hard to pin down. Well, there is a format to Marvel movies at this point.
Well, true.
And that's why Ant-Man was so interesting.
Which, I mean, yeah, at this point, and I'd argue up until Guardians 2, we don't get any good villains.
Till Guardians 2?
Yes, I
Wouldn't you argue that Loki's a good villain?
Okay, the thing about Loki is
he's the weird...
Okay, the thing is, at the point, the thing is, he's not a villain at the end of Ragnarok anymore.
Well, sure, but we're not there yet.
I'm sure if we got to know Ronan, he'd probably be cracking quips left and right if we gave him 4 movies to be in.
It doesn't sound like he is. He seems like a very straight-laced kind of guy.
You know what I mean, though. I'm just saying the more... Loki, the only quote-unquote villain that have had multiple appearances throughout the movies.
Thanos?
Thanos. He had 1.
Well,
going on 2.
3, if you count the Grin. You got Grin. You've got I'll Do It Myself, and you got the floaty chair bit.
Yeah, but which I argued is not that good because it's
not good at all.
It's not representative of how he is in the later movies.
Yeah, I was not very excited for Infinity War based on that scene.
If we had that version of Thanos in Infinity War, imagine that.
I mean, it'd be like the bad guy in Civil War. It's why are you here?
Well, I mean...
Hey!
I'm just saying that, the villains do get better. I do, and as a side note, in a prequel, and as a little
Easter egg?
No, my thoughts on Guardians 2 for a second is that I think Ego is a good villain.
Interesting. I mean, I think they add complexity to the villains.
My point is that after
this phase.
My point is after, like, starting with Guardians 2, good villains up until then. I'd even argue Ghost. The Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp.
She's actually really great as a villain because every single villain in Phase 3, pretty much, is extremely well motivated.
Except the villains in Captain Marvel, debatably. Because
that is
technically a spoiler.
We don't know the motivation. Like, we don't know why. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Everyone else, though, we have it's...
But yeah, in this phase...
they always get blown away. I want to see them later.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with superhero movies before the MCU. You actually kind of got to know villains.
They kind of gave equal longevity to either character, so that they had options.
Yeah, even in bad movies, like Daredevil.
Oh man, Daredevil.
Yeah.
What a treat.
Yeah, we should...
Ben Affleck, our true hero.
Ben Affleck, his #1 most remembered role as the Daredevil. Can't wait for the sequel.
Elektra?
Shut up.
Hey!
I've never seen either of those movies.
I haven't seen Elektra. I heard it was just so bad.
My point is, like, Marvel movies really do get the short end of the stick when it comes to villains at this point.
Yeah, by the end of Phase 2, you're just like, I think I know how these things are going.
Like, I think
aren't very good villains, fun stories.
Like, Ant-Man villain, he is the most, like, unnecessary. I'd argue even more unnecessary than villain in Civil War.
I mean, he didn't even have to exist to make the movie.
He really didn't. He
could have just been a corporation or a bank or a government agency had stolen the suit or whatever.
Like, he could have still been the antagonist, but he didn't have to be the one fighting in a suit, necessarily.
Yeah.
Like, he could have been, like, he could have had a gun himself or something. He could have had, like, a secret, I don't know, panic room? I don't know. My point is that that villain, the bad guy in that movie, didn't really need to happen.
Yeah.
And
I mean, Ultron was a great villain, but they kind of used him up for no reason.
Well, I'm not sure if he was a great villain, but he was very charismatic. He was James Spader.
Yeah, it's just such a good casting, it really carried.
Yeah, it's like
the idea of an evil robot.
Yeah.
You're like, ooh, evil robot. But it was James Spader, so it was good.
Yeah.
Although, if you could get a body as a robot, why would you pick a human body? Is it really the ideal form for a robot?
You created in own image.
Hey. So, Marvel...
How would you spell that?
A?
Is there an A or
It's just
G?
one giant A, but it's really stretchy. And so
are there no G's?
Like a bunch of G's.
Egg.
And then a bunch of G's and an H?
No, what we're really saying is egg, but we never get to finish it.
Oh. Oh, man. Hey, in a totally unrelated note, I was at a bowling alley for lunch, right?
Yeah.
And they had like all these different burger combos, but in like one of the stacks of things,
With a bowl of eggs.
it said egg cup. And we're like, I'll have a cup of eggs. Nobody got it. But it could have been anything.
Well, to be fair, Ben, we both work on an Air Force base. Him in technical stuff, me in a cafeteria. And there are boiled eggs you can buy in a cup.
Yeah, see, what's the deal with the eggs in a cup?
I don't know. How would you like your eggs served, Ben?
I say, eggs. Now we're going to have to end every one of those with guzz.
Yep.
Oh man, we've ruined our lives.
But to bring it back around, Ant-Man villain looks like an egg.
He does. Well, his ears are just very pronounced.
I did not notice ears. All I just noticed was an egg.
No. An evil Eggman.
I can't tell
a Dr. Eggman, if you will. So, are we really saying that the Yellow Jacket is Dr. Robotnik?
Yes.
Well,
different side note. Dr. Robotnik in the Sonic movie will be played by Jim Carrey.
No, he won't.
Yep.
This movie is going to be a train wreck that I have to watch.
Yep. So, but this movie, let's go on to our next thing.
Oh, my bit, I started on Ant-Man, but I think it needs to be brought up again. Science and magic. Science and magic theme. This point in the phase, we're transitioning more and more into magic.
Yeah.
We're using the power of the Infinity Stones to leverage that, but we're going more and more into the magic realm.
Yeah, which I do.
And we do that with Guardians. We do it with
Thor.
We're more on the science still. We're still in the science camp.
Okay, but
a little bit.
I will defend Ant-Man because that whole suit is designed around science.
Exactly.
We haven't reached Doctor Strange. You can bring that up when we get to Doctor Strange.
We're in a big weird place where science is happening still, and it's the primary reason that most of it's happening, but it's getting more magical. So, like, Guardians of the Galaxy has all the...
Oh, I hope that picked up.
Has all the Infinity Stones. Really just the one. But, like, all the things they're doing are backed by alien technology and whatever.
When did we first hear Infinity Stones? Was it in Thor: The Dark World?
No, it's in Guardians.
First?
Yeah, that's the first time they ever called it that.
I don't think it is.
Unless you count the mid-credit scene at the end of Thor: The Dark World.
I do.
Oh, okay. Then that's why.
Because I thought in Thor 2... when they're talking about the Dark Elves and where they came from or something. And I think in that part they say something about the ether. The aether?
Yeah.
Ether?
The ether. Malekith creates, in quotes, the ether.
And I could have sworn that in that scene they mention Infinity Stones, but I wouldn't be surprised that they would have saved that it wouldn't be safe to have 2 Infinity Stones in Asgard.
That was the thing I remember.
Yeah. So.
And what's funny is Earth has 2 Infinity Stones by right now.
No, it has none currently.
No, at the point we are in the show, there's 1.
In the show, Benjamin?
You know what I'm saying, the phases. There's
Universe?
1 right now, the Mind Stone recognizes a stone.
You're right.
We don't know about the other one yet. But at this point in the phase, there is a stone.
Okay, so your deal with magic and science, have we covered that?
Yeah, pretty much. It's shifting more towards magic, and by phase 3, it's all in. And science is bunk, and it's mostly magic.
Well, the thing is, after Civil War, Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's a formal transition into the magic part of it, but there's like...
No one gives a crap at that point.
Yeah, like the flower for Black Panther is pretty much magic. Iron Man's suit in Infinity War... Pretty much magic.
Pretty much magic.
There's telekinesis with no explanation.
Well, to be fair, they're aliens.
Well, yeah, no explanations of any kind. Thor Ragnarok's power is greatly enhanced through lightning bits by... you know what I'm saying? Yeah, his lightning bits are just way stronger than they were before.
Yeah, so magic is cool.
Yeah, it just gets more and more magic.
We'll get there very soon.
Yes. And I'll probably talk about this one more time.
In Doctor Strange.
At Thor Ragnarok.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Because, like, Thor is like the epitome of the science, the magic is science thing.
The amount of time that we're spending on Phase 3 right now instead of Phase 2 proves that Phase 3 is the best.
Phase 3 is the best, but there's also more movies. So, speaking of movies, what was the worst movie?
Thor: The Dark World.
Okay, what was the best movie, in your opinion? This isn't even really worth talking about. Because we both know the answer. Say it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Iron Man 3.
Age of Ultron.
Oh, okay. We both picked the wrong one on purpose. Okay, what was it? Really, you gonna say Age of Ultron was the best one?
Not necessarily. I
mean, I know you like Guardians 2 more than the first Guardians, so that's probably it gives it some points.
But I like Guardians 1, but I think like I said in the first podcast of that. I think it was a little hyped up, maybe, like as this pinnacle of great comedy and action and Chris Pratt and
Yeah,
Groot.
so you're saying overrated.
Yeah.
Guardians is overrated.
I think by definition it is overrated.
I
It
see.
being so well praised, it can't be that good.
Oh, I see. Like, nothing can be that good. What are we talking
Like,
about?
I remember...
This isn't Citizen Kane,
Like,
guys.
Yeah.
Hey.
Because because of that, I actually convinced Dad to take me to the movie for me personally, a second time because he hadn't seen it. And I hyped it up to him. And I think he still enjoyed it, but probably not as much as if he saw it by himself.
Yeah, if you overhype a movie, it does ruin it.
But
You gotta be careful when you praise a movie. But you can't undercut it or they won't watch it.
Exactly. So my point is, for me, like the most entertaining is Age of Ultron. And
I mean, a ton of stuff happens.
Yes, and I think the best film in Phase 2 is Winter Soldier.
I think it's the best
Action
scenes. Yeah, I mean, because the scenes in Guardians, you have a lot of space flight stuff happening.
I don't think just because it's in space makes it good.
I think being in space makes it cooler automatically.
Oh, really? What about the Pac-Man thing in Guardians 2?
They're not in space, they're inside of a floating rock brain.
Well, Ben, we are currently in space.
That means we're cooler than before! Eggs! So...
I can't wait to make a t-shirt.
Let's say, if you had to recommend movies that are required to make it through in prep for Endgame,
Okay.
what movies would you include?
Yeah,
I mean, it's a little tempting to include Thor: Dark World because of the Infinity Stone.
I will.
Okay,
Because
so let's hear it.
you got Thor: Dark World.
So you're skipping Iron Man 3.
Yes, I will admit yes. You got
Or spicy pepper.
Yes.
My one good joke from that whole pod. Go on.
You got definitely Guardians.
You got the Power Stone. You gotta know where it is.
And it also tells the audience what Infinity Stones are.
Yeah.
Okay, calm yourself. I would say
Are you including Winter Soldier?
kinda. You know what? No, because you know what? Yes, because of the Bucky and Steve relationship that will eventually lead into Civil War and such. You know, and that one's very important.
True.
Yeah. And so I would say almost all of them except maybe Ant-Man.
So not Ant-Man. That's it.
Yeah.
So the whole phase counts except for Ant-Man.
Ant-Man and Iron Man 3.
Yeah, I think...
Because really you only need to watch Ant-Man 2 for Phase 3. Like for Endgame.
Oh, like for the... In case it's important?
Oh, it's going to be important. You know exactly
I know,
why.
they're already hyping it up. I'm on board because of the Quantum Realm stuff.
The movie will at least make
It's
$2
really
billion.
cool.
It will at least make $1 billion.
Well, of course. So, the... Nuts. I think, for me, I have to skip out on Iron Man 3. I think the concept of Infinity Stones is not important enough to keep Thor 2.
Fair enough.
I think I would skip it. I think I would also skip Winter Soldier. I think it's a good movie.
Fair enough.
I don't think it enhances... I mean,
But
it's a good standalone.
Yes, but I do think it counts for Captain America's story arc and Bucky and their relationship, which will lead into Civil War.
Yes, I think
So
of the three movies series...
I think I'm valid in saying that. I will admit I was hesitant to put Dark World on there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense because they're talking about the ether. You're doing the Infinity Stone thing. You want to track the Infinity Stone.
Even though in Thor: The Dark World, it being the Reality Stone, they do nothing reality bending with it.
It's liquid and glass. That was one of my nitpicks. Is that it's all liquidy, and then when they fight with it, it's like little shards of red glass everywhere.
It's everywhere.
So I think I would skip it. I'm gonna skip
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3. I'm gonna skip Thor 2 and Captain America 2, mostly because
What about Ant-Man?
Ant-Man also is getting skipped.
So you only need to see 2 movies.
You only need to see Guardians for the Power Stone and Avengers for all the new stuff. Well, the Mind Stone.
Yes.
I'm torn for Captain America because the story's really, really good. Maybe I should. You know what? Yeah, you should watch it. It's so good, it's worth it. It's a must-see in the phase.
Yeah. So
I don't care if it applies to Endgame's plot or not.
Well, you probably won't, okay, let's set this straight. Infinity War made $2 billion, which means more people saw that than any other individual Marvel film.
In the box office.
Yes. But let's be serious. Everyone who saw that movie and skipped out on, let's say, Ant-Man and the Wasp, they're still going to see Endgame.
Yeah.
Nearly all of them. It's probably going to take...
It's the pinnacle of the whole build-up. I
mean, I want to see it break Infinity War's box office, but it probably won't.
Endgame won't?
Yeah. If anything has a chance to break Infinity War's opening weekend, it's Endgame. Not even Episode 9 of Star Wars.
Well, I think Episode 7 had a chance. Was Infinity War beat out?
Yes, by
7, right?
several dozens of millions.
Because that was prepped for years with hype and
so did Infinity War.
Yeah, Endgame I feel like hasn't gotten the same kind of treatment that Infinity War got.
Yeah, I feel like,
which is weird.
We love talking about these movies. More so the ones that we aren't currently talking about.
That's always true. So wait, as a reminder, in the first phase, what movies did you say were must-sees? Obviously Iron Man.
Iron Man 2.
Oh yeah, you said that.
Thor. First Avenger.
You said Thor?
Huh. Didn't I?
No,
I don't think I did. I said Iron Man 2, Cap 1, and Avengers. So now I'm going to retract Thor: The Dark World from mine.
Okay.
And say, continuing on, we have Cap 2, Guardians, Avengers. Is that it?
That's it.
I guess so.
So, pretty much
8 movies now? 7.
Iron 2.
I counted 4 and then
Cap,
3.
Avengers. Yeah, so 7 so far.
7 so far.
So 7 out of 12?
At this point.
Okay. Are must-sees.
Yes.
So, I think this just goes to show how good they are. And also how fun each individual movie is.
Well, yeah, the thing is, we all like to pretend, some people have convinced themselves that it is true, that you have to see every movie in order to understand the next film. Which is completely not true. You don't need to see Captain Marvel to understand Black Panther.
Exactly.
You know?
You probably do need to see
Captain Marvel for Endgame.
Actually, you probably don't. I was going to say you probably need to see Civil War to understand Black Panther, because that's when he's introduced. But you technically could get by without it.
Yeah, and I think, don't they mention in that movie that the dad died?
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole part that matters.
We're so close to Phase 3, people.
That's the next movie, actually.
Civil War, baby.
Woo!
Avengers 2.5.
It really was, wasn't it? It really was like...
Let's save that. Like. Ben, let's save that.
Agreed.
So, where are we now?
I think we're getting ready for the next movie.
Are we getting ready to close off this pod?
Yes, I think we are.
I see another note.
Oh, my final note is must-see movies and series. I think we did that.
So, those are your must-see movies. Is anyone listening? Hello? Are there 2 people listening? Send us mail.
Send us mail? There's no way to send us mail.
Physical mail.
You can email us at benandmikesfilmroom@gmail.com.
Do we have that?
Yeah.
I completely forgot.
I set it up. Eggs.
I really hope that sticks.
I don't know. I don't know.
Now, Ben, bring on the TARDIS! So, yes, continue with us as we... Well, first, thank you for listening with us as our retrospective of Phase 2. And continue on this wonderful train onto the road of Endgame. Do you agree, Ben?
Choo-choo.
Choo-choo, kajoo.